Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mr. Kaoru channel. Today we are going through my top 10 fragrance list for the winter time. So please stay tuned. Alright, so here comes my favorite time of the year. Yes, it's winter. Though this is my first time doing this list in English, it's already my third time doing this list. It's so fun to just think about what to put in, what to put out. It's just a really fun time for me. So this time I composed this list so that it's completely unisex. So please keep that in mind. Without further ado, let's get into my top 10 list for the winter. So let's start with number 10. Number 10 is Bentley for men. Intense. Okay, so this is a super famous cheapie. Basically, it's talked by every fragrance YouTuber by now. Some of the notes are black pepper, rum, cinnamon, incense, leather, patchouli. A brilliant boozy rum accord with vanilla leather and a major patchouli note. The rum accord smells super established. I imagine a wealthy person drinking rum at an authentic bar or something. It does smell like someone that owns a Bentley. That's how expensive this juice smells like. Actually, this fragrance was ranked 6th last year. It slipped a little, but it will always have a spot in this list. Awesome, classy winter fragrance which won't damage your bank. Perfect cold weather for beginners as well. This is the fragrance I would recommend if anyone was looking for a sweet winter fragrance for the first time. Okay, so number 9. Number 9 is Azzaro, Wanted by Night. This was ranked in my 2019 list. I haven't worn it for some time, but now I'm beginning to enjoy this a lot again. Some of the notes are cinnamon, lavender, fruity notes, cumin, tobacco, and so on. To me, this is a very nice fruity cumin fragrance. Cumin sometimes can smell animalic or body odorish, but this fragrance uses a cumin note to make the fruitiness a little bit more spicy and interesting. It does not smell body odorish at all. It's nothing really groundbreaking or anything. It would be something in the same vein as probably the Dolce & Gabbana, the one. They're not the same. They're kind of like in the same vein, I would say. Actually, this fragrance is not too strong or dense for a sweet fragrance, which makes this fragrance a lot easy and versatile to wear. But the longevity is decent and I really enjoy wearing this fragrance. Not to forget the badass design of this fragrance. Totally cool. You can see this, like revolver kind of thing going on. With this features only, I would have this would have been my favorite fragrance just with the bottle design if I was in high school. Super nice, easy to wear, fruity sweet fragrance for the winter. The price is not too bad as well. Number 8, Guerlain Louis. This fragrance I bought before it got integrated into the art and materials collection. I believe this fragrance is now called Oi Puit or something. I can't speak French, so forgive me about the pronunciation there, but this beautiful bottle is not available anymore. Some of the notes are clove, benzoin, carnation, vanilla, smoke, incense. So this fragrance to me is a really dry, smoky incense benzoin bomb, right? The clove note is quite prominent and it gives it that extra warm, spicy feel. There is that sharp carnation that gives it a very classical floral touch. There is a substantial benzoin base and vanilla coumarin also. Classic Guerlain, very intense, dry and dense. This clove and carnation combination gives it medicinal piney accord. It somehow reminds me of a very dry pine forest in the heat. I really cannot remember where I smelt this before. Somewhere like Yosemite National Park, or I'm not sure. It's just that really dry, pine forest where the ground is covered by dried pine leaves. That environment, where it smells dry, a little bit smoky, and then that environment itself, it smells like that. But it reminds me when my dad used to take our family to camping. It was one of those places, and you know, we did a campfire, and you know, we kids threw in some, you know, dry pine leaves in there, and you know, it's creating that smoke. That's what this smell reminds me of somehow. It's quite interesting. Another interesting point to point out is that this fragrance has absolutely no moisture to its scent at all. It's obviously really resinous and woody, but the texture is really dry. I find this quite interesting because this is my very few fragrances that do this, you know, like being sweet, but at the same time it's really dry. The longevity and projection is great. It may not be as loud as some of the other fragrances in this list, but it's enough to do its work. This may be a great fragrance for those who want something spicy, woody, and sweet, but also a dry texture. So that was number 8. Number 7. Number 7 would be Nasomatto. Pardon. Okay. Wow, look at this Nasomatto with the iconic bottle design. Some of the notes are magnolia, dark chocolate, cinnamon, agarwood, sandalwood. Pardon is a dark, dense chocolate cocoa floral fragrance. A really huge patchouli base, which makes this rich, dark and chocolatey with a little bit of oud vibe to it. As much as there is chocolate in this fragrance, there is also sandalwood. It may come to a surprise to some people, but this fragrance is not that sweet. I would definitely not call this a sweet fragrance. The chocolate in here is not that milk chocolate, Hershey's, you know, like not those sweet chocolate, but it's more kind of that dark cocoa-y kind of vibe, which is prominent in this fragrance. It's not sweet, but I would also say that this fragrance is made for seduction. It's a super mature way of seduction, I would say. This fragrance testifies that the date night fragrance do not always have to be sweet to be sexy. It's really something different and definitely not for everyone. I would imagine someone who is mature and very different and exotic. This fragrance being Extrait de Parfum, the longevity and projection is super excellent. The very sexy patchouli cocoa bomb, matching for, you know, like some sophisticated parties, grown-up Christmas parties. You will stand out in the crowd for sure with this one. Number 7, Nasomatto Pardon. Okay, so let's get into number 6. Number 6 is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. Yeah, wait, yeah, this one was too obvious and way too popular. Probably one of the most popular fragrances from the Tom Ford fragrances. The 3 major things that I smell from this fragrances is dried fruits, tobacco, and vanilla. The tobacco here is the moist pipe tobacco, not the ashy cigarette kind of tobaccos. Almost exactly the same smell as the most pipe tobaccos. The rich, damp, fruity smell that you get when you rip open a fresh bag of pipe tobaccos. It's a lot more than the raisin accord you get from the cigarettes. It's a lot more rich, damp, and dry fruits, and you know, it's a lot more umphier. It's an awesome smell. Even if you don't smoke, I request you to please try smelling a pipe tobacco. It would probably amaze you. It's that great. But anyways, it smells just like that, and on top of that, it's a mouth-watering, very realistic vanilla. I believe the scent is manipulated so that everything feels very natural in here. To me, the tobacco and vanilla hits me alternately. Sometimes I get vanilla, sometimes I get more of tobacco. You know, it kind of vibrates between those 2 notes for me. Very mature, grown-up kind of scent. This to me is a perfect Christmas season warm sensual scent, which always gives you a smile on your face whatsoever. I really imagine, you know, like waking up in the morning on a Christmas day, and then you go to the window, you find everything covered in snow. I mean, that's how cozy and comfortable this feels. I don't know, it's something very special that very limited fragrances can pull off, so definitely a very special masterpiece. Number 5 is Rasasi Yuqawam Homme. This is a very well-known clone of Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, so actually this clone is so close to the original you can actually recognize this as Tom Ford Tuscan Leather. I mean, this or Tuscan Leather is a very smoky leather raspberry scent. It's extremely bold and powerful. Smells like a fresh, high quality leather product. New leather seated luxury cars. Wow, the jasmine, you know, is there. Raspberry tartness still gives that very classy, elegant touch. You know, this leather accord is so smoky and intense and aggressive. You know, it's like there's no subtleness to this fragrance at all. This is the kind of fragrance you wear to let people around you know that you're there and you are wearing something freaking awesome. So it's like a statement fragrance. While being bold and rugged, it still remains the elegant aspect of at the same time. The performance is almost beast mode. It will run you through a whole day with ease. Even though I put this in my winter list, I would actually want to wear it year round. It's just the sheer intensity that makes me reach for it more in the winter time. So anyway, a very great masterpiece for the winter, Yuqawam pour Homme. Number 4, Christian Dior Homme Parfum. I believe you have heard other YouTubers talk about this fragrance. It's very popular amongst Fragcom. This is a little bit difficult fragrance to get across to. Recently, it's not discontinued. It's available in Europe only. And by the way, this now is coming in a refreshed design bottle. Now it comes in as a 100 ml, and the bottle kind of looks like this. But anyways, it's still out there. You can still get it. It's just not that easy. This is a true masterpiece. The Parfum version of the original Dior Homme, not the Dior Homme 2020. Some of the main notes are iris, leather, rose, and dark chocolate. It does have that signature lipstick waxy iris note, which the original Dior Homme is known for. But this one is more intense, dark, and umphier with the leather and sandalwood notes. It smells regal and expensive. It reminds me of classic luxury hotels, lobby in the night where the lights are dimmed down. I personally get reminded of Imperial Hotel of Tokyo. This is something you would want to wear for a special occasion like weddings. Not to hide that this is actually the fragrance that I wore for my own wedding. I think this fragrance is unisex enough that women can pull it off. Performance is beast mode. Some people even refer to this as the strongest perfume ever. I don't know about that, but anyways, this is really strong. I'm actually confused that this is being released in the standard line collections. I would not be surprised if this got moved to the Maison Christian Dior line or the La Collection Privé. I wouldn't be surprised at all. It would do totally fine in that line of fragrances. I believe this is even better than the majority of the fragrance in the current line. It would hold its own against the top tier of their fragrances like Eau d'Ispahan, Amber Nuit, Criconage. I mean, yeah, it's like kind of the same vein, same level as those. If you can get your hands on it, I'll definitely request you to try this out. Perfect cold weather scent when you want to feel luxurious and gorgeous. Okay, so let's go to number 3. Number 3 is Mugler Amen Pure Tonka. This is a new fragrance which came into my list. I was looking for this fragrance all along. I have managed to get this little decant bottle this year, and boy, I'm loving this one. Some of the notes are tonka bean, coffee, vanilla, patchouli. As the name of this fragrance would imply, this fragrance is all about the tonka and the Amen patchouli DNA. I can really smell a prominent roast coffee note. The vanilla tonka caramel note is a fantastic gourmand. It smells like a pancake breakfast, and you mashed it together. But the Amen patchouli DNA gives it a dark impression. It smells like a pancake breakfast, but it's kind of dark. I mean, if that makes any sense. Some people say that this is a modernized version of the original Amen, and yeah, and I have to agree. Performance is super good, as with other Amen series. By the way, if you would have been following my channel, I have been saying that Mugler Amen Pure Malt is my personal favorite fragrance ever. Pure Malt has made this list the last 2 years, and it was always ranked in the top tiers. And yeah, and I decided to put that one out this year just because It's now moved into my personal Hall of Fame fragrances, and you know, it wasn't too fun to, you know, put the same fragrances in the top tier every year. So I decided to put that out this year. With that being said, Pure Tonka is getting really close to what A-Min is to me now. I can even find myself reaching to Pure Tonka even more this year. So it's really that good. So I mean, it's holding its own against my personal favorite ever fragrance. So definitely a one to try out. Too bad this is discontinued. It's getting far harder to find every day, and even if you find it, you have to pay a pretty decent amount of money. So anyways, if you have the chance, I request you to put your nose on this. Yeah, so a perfect gourmand for the winter season. And moving to number 2 from this list is Christian Dior Santal Noir. And this is another great discovery I made this year. This is from the Dior's La Collection Privé or Maison Christian Dior, whichever it's named in your region. I believe this was originally released as a Middle Eastern exclusive. Now I believe it's being sold in European countries as well. There are only 3 official notes from this fragrance, and they are sandalwood, ambrette, and Turkish rose. Yes, the sandalwood is a major player here, but you get as much ambrette and roses as you would get sandalwood. So it's not only the sandalwood. The rose being used here is a really beefy one, you know, the one that I think they're using the same roses that they're using in Oud Ispahan. Very nice and beefy. The sandalwood here is that smoky kind of sandalwood. It's more of the smoky and dryness rather than the creaminess, but I still like this. They're definitely adding some smoky nuances here. And finally, the ambrette. It's really prominent ambrette note here. The ambrette in this fragrance is giving a full blow of dried fruits along with a dense musk. It also gives a medicinal or maybe a boozy vibe. It's smoky, it's sandalwood, it's intense, beefy roses, booze, fruits. I mean, it's basically packed with things that I like. Some people say it reminds them of Chanel's Egoiste. And yes, it does remind you of that, but it's a really definitely more roses and fruits. I see a lot of people review this as a dark fragrance, but to my nose, personally, I feel that this is a I find it really happy kind of vibe. So I don't know, but maybe people, you know, just kind of take the name, you know, noir and just relate it as dark. But to me, it's kind of like a happy, not bright, but it's more of the happy vibe things. An amazing fragrance for the wintertime, which absolutely deserves more attention. I may have put it in as number 1 if only if it was more accessible. But anyways, top tier fragrance for the winter. Okay, so let's go into the number 1. Number 1 is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Yes, this fragrance made it to the top of the list 2 years consecutively. Some of the notes are cardamom, nutmeg, coffee, and vanilla. A very dark, milky vanilla gourmand. You could probably categorize this as oriental as well. Definitely a prominent cardamom/nutmeg note that gives it that extra mysteriousness. One of the notes listed as kulfi is an Indian dessert, which I personally really like. Kulfi is like a thick ice cream flavored with saffron, roses, herbs, pistachio, and it makes this fragrance more intense and you get that extra depth. It's a spicy oriental gourmand with a mature, sophisticated aura. Dark, mysterious, thick, milky, spicy vanilla, super warm and sexy. I would imagine a mature person chilling out in a luxury hotel lounge, enjoying his or her time or with their partners. Completely unisex, thick, milky, spicy vanilla. The performance may not be the best when compared to the other fragrance from this list. However, this has no issues working you through the day, so I think it's a really small thing to nitpick on. I do believe that there are other fragrances from this list that are technically better than this fragrance. When it specifically comes to the winter season, I really can't find any other fragrance that is better matching than this fragrance. There's something about this fragrance that make me feel comfortable and cozy in the wintertime, and at the same time makes you feel really sexy and mysterious. Undoubtedly Tom Ford, one of the top tier Tom Ford fragrances for me, even considering the private blend line. So I feel kind of lucky that they're releasing this to us as a signature collection. Yeah, definitely a very good value for the money you pay. A perfect fragrance option for going on dates in the cold weather. Very sexy and warm. So this is my number one pick for the wintertime, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Okay, so that was my top 10 winter fragrances for this year. How did you like it? Did you find any of your favorite fragrances? If you didn't, please comment down in the section below. What are some of your favorite fragrances for the wintertime? Please feel free to share. And if you like my content, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. That's it for today, and see you in the next video. Have a nice day.